Gunfire ripped the air. Dirt leaped. Emma Cole hugged the earth and tasted grit. Her ears rang. Her chest thumped with each shot from the line. Bullets snapped past the target frames and cracked against the berm. The smell of burned powder clung to her tongue. Mud pressed under her elbows. The sky felt too bright. Up, she told herself. She slid the rifle into her shoulder. Breath in. Half out. The reticle floated. The wind hissed across the range and tugged the grass. The metal of the bolt felt hot. She steadied. A tiny vibration tapped her wrist. Her old watch. The cracked face glinted in the sun. Spidered glass. Faded numbers. A hum under the skin. She ignored it. She had ignored it for years. "Move!" shouted Staff Sergeant Robert Hayes from behind the line. His voice cut clean through the noise. "Targets at 600. This is not basic. This is precision." Emma locked her jaw. She was not here to explain a broken watch. She was here to hit steel. The shot broke. The rifle bucked. The echo rolled across the field. A faint ring came back from the far end. Hit. The sound sliced through the chaos like a bell. Hands clapped her shoulder as she rolled off the mat. John Reyes grinned at her. "Nice one, Cole. For a fossil watch, you keep decent time." Michael Jenkins laughed. "PX sells new ones for $20. Yours looks like it crawled out of a bunker." Emma lifted her sleeve a little. The watch ticked like a bad heart. "It works well enough," she said. "Dry. Simple." Then she let the sleeve fall. Staff Sergeant Hayes stepped forward. He moved like a storm. Calm and heavy. "Listen up." The line straightened. "Advanced marksmanship is patience. Wind, distance, heat, the shape of the ground. Your gear must work. Your mind must work harder." His gaze slid across faces. It stopped on Emma's wrist. "Even your watch." A few snickers. Emma kept her face still. They marched to new positions. Gravel crunched under boots. The sun climbed. Heat shimmer danced above the lanes. Sophia Chun fell into step beside Emma. Quiet voice. "My grandmother wore one like that," she said. "Never right. Never off her arm either." Emma nudged the strap tighter. "Some things stay," she said. "Even when they break." The next relay began. Steel hung far out in the haze. The air twitched. The flags at the pits barely moved. Then twitched again. Tricky wind. Emma watched Staff Sergeant Hayes drop to a firing point. He showed the body line. He showed the hand on the stock. He spoke about patience. He spoke about math. Emma watched his small adjustments. How he leaned into the dirt. How he let the rifle breathe. "Cole. You're first," he called. Being first meant no examples to copy. "Fine." She set the bipod. She checked the scope. She ran her checklist fast. Bolt. Level. Parallax. She laid her cheek on warm polymer and let her heartbeat settle. Behind her, whispers. "Think she can even see the target? Maybe the watch will point the way." Emma tuned them out. The reticle steadied on a black disc that wavered in heat. She read the grass. She picked a hold. Breath in. Half out. Pressure. Press. Break. The steel jumped. Another hit. Not center. On. Clean. On target, Hayes called. No smile. A small nod. Next shooter. Emma rose and slung the rifle. Chun passed by with a soft "good shooting." Emma nodded back. But her attention slid to the tiny heat on her wrist. The watch felt warm again. A low thrumming like a caged bee. She stepped aside and lifted her sleeve. The glass flickered. Not time. Not the bat stutter she knew. Shapes. A slice of a number. A letter. Then darkness. Then the shapes again. Her skin prickled. She turned her wrist in the light. The face flashed white. Michael Foster leaned in with a smirk. "Finally dying?" he asked. "Put the poor thing down." The watch flared. Sharp. Clean digits burned through the cracks. Coordinates. Degrees and minutes. Not random. Exact. A second line woke under them. Altitude. Wind. Pressure. Her breath snagged. The third line rose last. Confirmed kill. 3000 m. A date sat beside it. 15 years ago. 2 initials followed. MIDI. Her father's initials. Michael Cole. The light died. The face went dull. The old tick returned slow and wrong. The world rushed back. Shots cracked down the line. A gust dragged grit through her teeth. Foster had gone quiet. "What is that?" he asked. No mockery now. His eyes were careful. Emma pulled her sleeve down. "A watch," she said. Staff Sergeant Hayes called the group in. "Final phase," he barked. "Same wind. Harder holds. Mind your math. No lucky shots." They crowded around the firing points. The air held its breath. Emma felt every thud of her pulse in her wrist. She could still see the numbers when she closed her eyes. The date. The range. The initials. Her father had never talked about the past. He had only worn this watch and said nothing. Hayes scanned the faces. Questions. Foster raised a hand. "What is the max for a trained sniper with the right gear?" His voice carried. "Under perfect conditions," Hayes said. "Over 2,000 is possible. At 3,000 you need miracles. Equipment. Ammunition. A shooter who lives for math and still knows how to breathe." The line fell silent. Emma looked at the lane. At the blurred steel in the heat. At the drift of grass. Her watch lay cool now. Dead as ever. Her hands were not cool. Her hands shook. She pressed her palm over the glass until the shake stopped. Then she stepped to the mat for her turn. The old watch pulsed once under her skin. The face flickered. And the numbers began to move. The blast of a rifle cracked across the range. Echoes tumbled through the valley. Emma Cole's shot rang steel again. Dead center this time. The recoil hammered her shoulder, but she hardly felt it. The watch on her wrist glowed faintly, then dimmed to its usual broken face. Silence followed. A silence too long. Every recruit stared. Even Staff Sergeant Hayes blinked, slow, deliberate. "That," he said, voice even, "was not luck." Emma stood, dust on her knees, rifle slung. Heat rolled off the gravel. Her throat felt dry. She wanted to swallow, but her tongue was ash. John Reyes broke the quiet. How did she?" He stopped. Michael Foster stepped forward. His eyes cut sharp. "It's the watch. I saw it light up." Whispers spread like sparks. Emma tightened her sleeve over the cracked glass. "Forget it," she muttered. But Hayes didn't forget. His stare pinned her. "Cole, stay after. The rest of you dismissed. Clean your rifles and remember what patience looks like." The recruits scattered, boots crunching on stone. Glances trailed Emma. Curiosity. Suspicion. Respect. Fear. She felt every look burn her back. Chun lingered. "Nice shot," she whispered. Then she left. Only Hayes remained. He moved closer. His voice dropped low. "Show me the watch." Emma hesitated. She thought of her father, of quiet dinners where he said nothing of the past. She thought of his grave, the cold stone, the promise she had made to wear the watch always. Her hand trembled as she unbuckled the strap. Hayes held it, turned it in his calloused hands. The spidered glass, the scratched casing. He frowned. "This isn't standard issue. Old. Modified. These contacts here," he traced the back with a finger, "don't belong. Who gave you this?" "My father," Emma said, voice flat. "He wore it until he died." Hayes's eyes narrowed. "Name?" "Michael Cole." Recognition flickered. He didn't hide it fast enough. "What unit?" he asked. "He never told me." Hayes exhaled through his nose. He returned the watch. "Keep it hidden. Don't use it again in front of them." "Why?" "Because gear like this doesn't belong in basic training. And because if it's what I think, it changes everything." Emma strapped the watch back on. The cracked face ticked wrong as always. But now she knew better. That night in the barracks she lay awake. The others whispered about her in the dark. Reyes swore she cheated. Jenkins joked nervously about X-ray scopes. Foster stayed quiet. Chun defended her with simple words. Emma stared at the watch. Its face caught the faint red glow of the exit sign. Her father's initials burned again in her mind. The date. The kill. 3,000 meters. What had he done? The next morning fog crawled over the grounds. Boots thudded in rhythm as the company ran. Breath steamed. The cold bit skin. Emma kept pace, lungs burning, sweat freezing on her back. Her watch beat against her wrist, heavy as a chain. Later maps replaced rifles. They split into groups for night navigation training. Compass, paper, darkness. Emma walked with Foster and Henderson. The forest swallowed sound. Twigs snapped sharp. Their breaths echoed under the trees. Straight shot east, Henderson muttered, compass steady. But Foster limped. His boot caught a root. He went down hard, cursing. Ankle twisted. Leave me, he hissed. Finish without me. We don't leave people, Henderson argued. Emma felt the watch stir. A low hum. She pulled her sleeve up. The glass flickered alive. A map spread across the broken face. Lines, contours, coordinates. Dots. One dot pulsed bright, their position. Others glowed nearby. Another group, only 200 meters away. Her chest tightened. There's a team close. We can get them. Henderson frowned. How do you know? Emma closed her sleeve. Heard voices. That way. She pointed. They moved. Through brush, over roots. Within minutes, shadows appeared. Reyes Martinez and another recruit. Struggling with their own bearings. Help him back, Emma ordered. We'll finish. Reyes nodded. They took Foster's weight and vanished into the dark. Henderson stared at Emma as they pressed on. Lucky guess. Emma didn't answer. The hum at her wrist faded. The watch ticked wrong again. But she knew. It wasn't luck. It was the past bleeding into the present. And it wasn't finished. The forest whispered with every step. What else did the watch hide? The night was thick with fog. A silver moon broke through in pieces, casting long shadows over the training grounds. Emma Cole sat on her bunk, boots unlaced, rifle cleaned and stowed. The barracks buzzed with low chatter, but her mind wasn't there. Her wrist hummed. The watch pulsed faintly, light seeping through the cracked glass. She pulled her sleeve back. Digits crawled across the face. Not time. Not the wrong ticks she knew. Coordinates. Elevation. Numbers she couldn't ignore. Her throat tightened. The date flickered again. 15 years ago. Beside it, the word she dreaded. Confirmed kill. Range 3,000 meters. And her father's initials. The glow died, leaving only the broken dial. The room fell silent. Cole. A voice cut through the air. Staff Sergeant Hayes stood in the doorway. His silhouette filled the frame. With me. Bring the watch. Eyes followed her as she rose. She felt them drilling into her back. Whispers crawling behind. She gripped the strap of her rifle as she stepped into the cold night. Hayes led her across the compound. Gravel crunched under their boots. The air smelled of oil and wet earth. He said nothing until they reached the admin building. Inside waited Captain Richards, sharp eyes behind his desk. Next to him, a man in a plain suit. Civilian. His presence spoke louder than any rank patch. Private Cole, Richards said. His tone was even, heavy. Sit. Emma lowered herself onto the hard chair. The civilian leaned forward. My name is Daniel Carter. Department of Defense. He didn't smile. You have something that belongs to us. Emma's heart pounded. It was my father's. Carter's eyes narrowed. Michael Cole. He spoke the name like it was already known. He served in a program that never made the news. That watch was part of it. Hayes crossed his arms. His gaze stayed on her, not the suit. Emma clenched her fists. He never told me. Of course he didn't, Carter said. He wasn't allowed. That device is more than a timepiece. It's a tactical support system. Calculations, navigation, fire control. Your father used it in the field. And now it's reacting to you. The room felt colder. Richards leaned forward. This puts us in a situation. You're a recruit, not cleared for classified systems. Yet the device is bonded to you. We can't ignore that. Emma swallowed. So what happens now? Carter slid a folder across the desk. 2 options. 1, you surrender the device. It's decommissioned. You return to basic training like nothing happened. Her chest tightened. Or 2, he continued, you transfer into a specialized program. You'll be trained to use it. That path is dangerous. Demanding. Few succeed. But it's the only way to understand what your father truly did. Hayes's voice cut in, calm but sharp. Think before you answer, Cole. This choice won't be undone. Emma stared at the watch. The cracked glass glinted under the fluorescent light. She thought of her father. His silence. His steady hand on her shoulder when she was a child learning to shoot. The tick of the second hand echoed in her ears. Offbeat. Wrong. But steady. Her pulse matched it. I need time, she said, her voice low. 24 hours, Richards replied. Not a second more. They dismissed her. She walked back through the compound, night air biting her skin. The barracks glowed dim ahead, voices muffled inside. She touched the watch again. The crack felt sharp against her fingertip. What had her father been? What was she becoming? The watch gave no answer. Only a faint hum deep in the metal. The transport truck growled as it rolled through the gates of Fort Campbell. Dawn spilled orange light over barbed wire and steel towers. Emma Cole sat in the back, duffel by her side, rifle across her knees. The watch on her wrist ticked offbeat, heavy as a weight. Master Sergeant Kelly waited at the reception hall. Tall. Severe eyes. Voice sharp as glass. Private Cole. You've been reassigned. Welcome to the Advanced Tactical Program. Emma followed her through clean corridors. The smell of disinfectant, gun oil and cold air filled the halls. This wasn't basic training anymore. This place was quiet, disciplined, and dangerous. They passed glass walls that revealed training ranges unlike anything she had seen. Targets stretched out past a kilometer. Obstacle courses wound through towers and pits. Tech rooms buzzed with machines she couldn't name. This program has 3 phases, Kelly said, her boots striking hard on the tile. Phase 1, physical conditioning and tactical foundations. Phase 2, advanced marksmanship and technology integration. Phase 3, field evaluation. Only 30% finish. The rest go back broken. Emma said nothing. Her chest felt heavy. Kelly stopped at a dormitory door. Her name was taped to it. Inside, the room was small but private. A bed. A desk. A narrow window. More space than basic but colder somehow. You start tomorrow, Kelly said. 0600. Don't be late. The door clicked shut. Emma sat on the bed and unbuckled the watch. She set it on the desk. Its cracked face looked dull, harmless. But her hand still tingled from its weight. That night she barely slept. The hum of fluorescent lights mixed with the faint ticking of the watch. Her father's shadow stretched long in her mind. Morning came fast. At Building 7, 11 others waited in plain PT gear. Ranks mixed. Private. Corporal. Sergeant. Each face sharp, watchful. None were here by accident. Master Sergeant Kelly entered. Behind her, a civilian in glasses. Dr. Harrison, she said. Specialist in tactical systems. Harrison spoke while a screen lit behind him. Images flashed. Diagrams of devices that looked like Emma's watch but newer. Sleeker. These are integrated tactical systems. They calculate wind, distance, terrain. They track movement. They store mission data. They do what no human can in the time it takes to breathe. The recruits leaned forward. Eyes wide. Harrison's gaze landed on Emma. Private Cole, I understand you've seen an earlier model. Her throat dried. Yes. How does it compare? Emma glanced at the cracked watch on her wrist. Older. Harder to read. But it feels sharper. Like it knows more than it shows. Harrison's eyes narrowed with interest. Noted. Training began. First came physical trials. Not standard push-ups or runs. They tested vision with moving targets on glowing screens. They measured hand-eye reflex with lasers that flashed faster than thought. They timed puzzle solving under stress. Each drill carved away weakness. Emma pushed until her muscles screamed. Sweat burned her eyes. Her pulse hammered against her ribs. But she held. Then came weapons. Long rifles, optics fine-tuned for hairline precision. They learned to breathe with the gun, to let the trigger break like glass. Targets stretched farther than she had ever imagined. When it was her turn, Emma lay prone. Through her scope, the target shimmered in heat haze. The wind whispered, shifting left, then right. She felt the watch stir. Its glass flickered. Numbers crawled onto the face. Wind speed. Angle. Hold. Fire solution. She adjusted. Fired. Steel sang. Dead center. The line went silent. Harrison scribbled notes. Kelly's lips tightened, almost approval. Emma exhaled. The watch dimmed again. That night in her room, she compared her father's old unit with the sleek device she had been issued. Side by side they looked like kin. The old one cracked and scarred, the new one sharp and clean. Yet when she touched both at once, the glow returned stronger. The two spoke to each other in silent pulses. The hum filled the room. She pulled her hand back, heart racing. If these two could merge, what else could they unlock? Rain hammered the tin roof of the training hall. The air was thick with sweat, cordite, and tension. Emma Cole crouched low, rifle steady, heart pounding. Targets moved in staggered patterns across a valley lit by floodlights. Wind flags snapped. She glanced at her issued device. Numbers flickered across its clean screen. Wind, distance, pressure. Then the old watch on her wrist stirred. Cracked glass glowed. Its pulse matched her heartbeat. The two devices spoke in tandem. The new one precise. The old one deeper, richer, carrying data she didn't understand. Together they painted firing solutions on her vision. Emma squeezed. Shot after shot cracked through the storm. Steel rang, one hit after another. When the last target fell, silence stretched across the range. Even the rain seemed to pause. Outstanding, Master Sergeant Kelly said finally, voice cold but certain. Not just skill. Integration. The recruits stared. Some in awe. Some in fear. She felt the weight of their eyes. Too perfect. Too fast. Too much. Later, in a closed briefing room, Dr. Harrison leaned over the table. Private Cole, your father's device is not just compatible. It enhances. That watch carries protocols our current models don't. It's rewriting how the system thinks. Emma's stomach nodded. So what does that mean for me? Colonel Barrett, the program director, folded his hands. It means you're no longer just a trainee. You're a test case. We need to know how far this integration can go. And whether you can control it. Kelly's eyes cut sharp. Control it or it will control you. Emma looked down at the watch. The cracked glass caught the fluorescent light. Ticked wrong but steady. That night, her barracks was silent. She sat at the desk, both devices in front of her. She touched them at once. The room filled with a low hum, like a heartbeat carried through steel. For an instant she saw not numbers but images. Maps. Kill records. Missions from years ago. Her father's history burned into the circuits. Her breath caught. She pulled her hand back. The glow died. She whispered into the dark. What did you do, Dad? No answer. Only the rain against glass. Morning brought the Phase 1 field exercise. Teams pushed into the woods, tasked with navigation, intelligence gathering, precision fire. Emma's squad moved quiet, rain dripping from branches. Mud sucked at their boots. The watch pulsed again, leading her with subtle signals. A path through dense brush. A wind shift before it touched her cheek. The location of a target before anyone else could see it. Every shot landed true. Every move flawless. Her team excelled. At the end, Kelly read the results. 9 of you advanced to Phase 2. Cole, you lead the list. A murmur spread. Some recruits clapped her on the back. Others turned away. Suspicion lingered with admiration. That night, Emma lay awake staring at the ceiling. She had chosen this path. Chosen to follow her father's shadow. But the deeper she went, the more she felt the watch wasn't just guiding her. It was binding her. Was it legacy? Or a chain? She closed her eyes. The cracked face ticked on her wrist, whispering of secrets buried in silence. Viewers, what would you choose? Surrender the device and walk away? Or follow the legacy, no matter how dangerous?